Most people think the key to learning is stuffing more into their brains. So they read faster, watch longer videos, and listen to audiobooks at 2x speed. But consuming more doesn't mean you're learning more. It just means you're busy. The truth is, your brain isn't a hard drive. It's a living system that needs time to process. What matters isn't how much you take in, it's how much stays and can be used later. And most people forget this. They chase volume and speed and end up forgetting 90% of what they tried to learn. Real learning starts not with input, but with digestion. If you're not processing what you consume, you're not learning. You're just scrolling with a fancier name. It's like eating all day without giving your stomach time to absorb anything. Knowledge isn't calories, it's fuel, only when absorbed. I've spent the last 7 years testing a system that finally made learning click for me. It's built on a simple but powerful truth. Consuming and digesting are two separate boisons. If you read an entire book and never pause to reflect, review, or apply, it's like pouring water into a cup with a hole at the bottom. The secret is balance. Every bit of input needs a moment of processing, either practice, mapping, or critique depending on the content. And if you're skipping digestion, you're cheating yourself of retention. This system doesn't just help you remember, it helps you use what you remember. That's the difference between someone who knows trivia and someone who solves problems. And once you get this balance right, your learning accelerates without you burning out. This is how high performers learn. Not harder, just smarter. Before you can digest information properly, you have to recognize what type of info you're dealing with. Not all knowledge is created equal. Some things are meant to be done, like riding a bike or coding. That's procedural info, and the only way to master it is by doing it fast. Other things remind you of what you already know. Those are analogies. And if you don't pause to test and question those connections, you'll misunderstand or oversimplify. Then there's conceptual knowledge. This is where understanding gets built. It's not about facts, but how ideas connect and interact. Each of these needs a different tool. Practice, critique, mapping. And if you're using the wrong tool for the wrong info, it's like trying to eat soup with a fork. The mistake most learners make is treating everything like facts to be memorized. But concepts aren't just data. They're blueprints for thinking. And the best way to grasp them is by mapping how they relate. When you draw out what you're learning, not just in lists, but in clusters, branches, and webs, you start seeing patterns. This turns a bunch of separate ideas into a system. Experts don't just recall, they navigate knowledge. They jump from concept to concept because they've mapped it out in their minds. Mapping gives you that power. It's not pretty notes, it's thinking out loud in visual form. And once you get into that habit, reading becomes thinking, not just passive input. Now, what about all the dates, formulas, and little details? That's where evidence and reference info come in. These aren't concepts you build ideas on. They're bricks you throw in to prove or recall something. You don't need to obsess over memorizing them on the spot. Just store them smart, use a digital system or flashcards, and schedule time to review. Don't burn your brain trying to hold every stat in your head. The key is to separate what needs understanding from what just needs repeating. When you make that distinction, you save hours of wasted effort. This is how you study for impact, not for ego. At the end of the day, smart learners don't learn more, they learn differently. They focus less on cramming and more on balancing input with output. They know that reading without thinking is just data hoarding. Every piece of content has a purpose, and it's your job to find the best way to keep and apply it. When you balance consuming with digesting, you create a brain that works with you, not against you. And once you master that, you stop learning out of fear and start learning with clarity. This is the real edge in today's world. It's not knowing everything, it's knowing what to keep and why.